Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we are playing some Jund Wildfire. This is one of the decks that I'm considering taking to Pauper Genesis, which is in just a few weeks, and so I figured we'd give it a try here. This is pretty similar to the list that I took to SCGCon last month, but with some of the changes that I had wanted to implement. So we're on Writhing Chrysalis, Refurb, of course, and we're down to 3 Gixian Infiltrators. Because I wanted to fit in a couple Toxin analysis in the main deck. I think this is really helpful against the Elves matchup, which can be a bit difficult, but also the Mono Red Madness matchup. So the life gain and the death touch is super relevant and can be quite good. So we're playing a couple of those. Then we have the 3 Cart Clan Shamans, of course, to wipe the board with the Toxin analysis. Then for card draw, Eviscerator's Insight, Fanatical Offering, we got some Wellsprings, a couple Lembas, of course we have 4 Cleansing Wildfire, Makeshift Munitions for some removal, Cast Downs, and Spell Bombs. I'm on 21 lands because that's what I prefer. Pretty much the same 20 lands everyone plays, plus a Pachuca Bog. And then in the sideboard we have some Fairy Macabre, Go for the Throat, Terminate, Duress, a couple Breath Weapons, Ancient Grudge, Troublemaker Oof, and Weather the Storm. So let's take this for a league and see how we do. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. I've written a comprehensive guide on how to play White Weenie in Pauper, including my ideal stock list, over 30 sideboard matchups, and a sideboard cheat sheet, which gives you a very easy snapshot view and what to sideboard for every single matchup. I also have guides for Black Sack and Esper Affinity. Each guide is only $15, and if you buy one, you will get all future updates that I ever make to that guide for free. I also offer coaching, so if you're interested in upping your Pauper game for any of the decks that I'm very proficient in, or if you're interested in having me play your deck in a future video, you can do a deck donation, which is the only way you'll ever see me playing Cycle Storm or Flickertron. All right, first round here. Got a pretty good opening hand. All of our colors of mana. Bridge, so if we get a Wildfire, we can do that on turn 2. Looks like we're against... Ooh, and we did get the Wildfire. Very nice. Looks like we're against Jeskai. Jeskai Ephemerate, probably. Ooh, never mind. Grixis, but they have a Perilous Landscape, so it could be like 4 color, splashing for like Ephemerate or something. Interesting. Well, we're definitely going to Wildfire here. Just grab a mountain and pass. Bonder's Ornament. Interesting. Yeah, definitely some Grixis or maybe Grixis plus white control deck. Kind of cool. I can play Wellspring plus Offering, or I could just do Wellspring plus get a Munitions down. No guarantee Munitions is going to be like the best thing ever, but it could be good if they are Ephemerate. It's either that or I could play like Refurb Krork here, which starts pressuring them a little bit. Maybe that is better. So I'll play a Refurb. And I'm just not expecting Krork to be super powerful in this matchup. So I might as well just get it down and they can start attacking. They are splashing white for at least Union of the 3rd path. Hard to believe I'll be subscribed for 1 year soon. You got me good. Lorien revealed, okay. Well, let's Fanatical just to draw some cards while they're tapped out. Swing. I think we will play the Munitions while they're tapped out, Bridge, and pass. I guess Bonder's Ornament helps them splash their colors. Makes 4 colors a little easier, plus Bonder's Water Skin. Bender's Water Skin. Fanged Flames on the Refurb. Alright, it's gone. It's pretty awesome as supporting creators like Marsh. Help me get through my morning, lol. Glad you're able to be here. Never didn't have it, indeed. Let's Wellspring. This would have been a great time to get like a Chrysalis down, but we're not finding that yet. So I'll just play some more Wellsprings. Alright, Refurb's not bad. Pressure their hand. Leave up a mana so that I can fling a Refurb if they try to kill it, or just a Wellspring on the end step, probably. Got another Lorien? They do. Plains. Yeah, I'll just throw a Wellspring here to draw a card. If they want to like Breath Weapon while I'm tapped out, they got me. But they decide not to. Swing for 3. And I think we'll just pass. We got plenty of things to cast at instant speed here, or just like cycle a Landscape or something. They're going to cycle a Landscape. Hello, my fellow Pauper friend. Hope you have a great day. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's going pretty well so far. Hope everybody else is having a good day as well. Preordain, scratch you to the bottom. Cycle another Landscape. Pass. We're going to go for an Insight on the Wellspring. Draw a bunch. Let's draw 2 off this map. And we'll even cycle this landscape. I need a black there. Drew a million bridges, but that's okay. Attack for 3. They have a Scred. At this point, we don't really want to waste any resources, so let's just throw that at them for 1 mana. Hit him with the Krark. We will Wildfire this bridge. Grab a basic. Play a Lembas. I'll keep an Infiltrator for sure. I'm not going to play it quite yet because I wouldn't have a way to, like, munitions to grow it or anything like that, so let's just refurb. They're going to Bonder's Ornament in response. We'll play a bridge, and I think I'd rather leave up a munitions for 1 and discard a card than play like a Krark that I don't need. Because we're pretty close, if they don't have like another Union or any other way to gain life, pretty close to just having enough permanents to ping them down. We have 7 throwable cards on the board. They have an Archaeomancer. Getting back Union. Not Ephemerate because they don't have enough white. Although I guess they just tapped these. They would have enough white because the water skin untaps, but fair enough. I'm going to throw this Lembas at them since I have the mana. I guess no Ephemerate because I could just Krark it down, probably. They're going to Union while we're tapped out. Fair enough. Can't do much about that. They gain 5. There's a Spell Bomb. They do have Counterspell available. Swing with the Refurb. Has anyone told you you look like Clad Dareswell from WotC? Yeah, I've heard that a couple times. Yeah, Harbor Master, I realize got some lag. Yeah, I feel like you're like a minute or 2 behind, but that's totally fine. Alright, so we can play an Infiltrator. Yeah, let's do that. If they want to counter it, that's totally fine. Play a Spell Bomb, land, and just hold everything up. Now we have munitions for a bunch. Can grow the Infiltrator. Eviscerator's Insight in the grave. Spell Bomb makes it so Archaeomancer's less scary. Murmuring Mystic. Okay. Have some kill spells for that. I could do some kill spells here on the end step, or I could just go for an Eviscerator's Insight, which uses their mana a little more efficiently. But I don't know if I want to sack a Krark. I do have another, but Krark could grow Infiltrator, plus it could just kill these if I really need. Let's just sack a land here with the Insight. Another Refurb. Let's cast that. Casting pre-combat does make it so they could counterspell and get a bird, but it also gives us more fodder to throw if we really wanted to. They discard a Muldrifter. We'll swing with these guys. Ephemerate targeting Archaeomancer. I think I'm going to cast down the Mystic in response, which will probably eat a counterspell. Yup. So we'll cast it down again. They have an Ephemerate on it. Okay. So I could Toxin our Krark. I would lose our Infiltrator, but I would wipe their board, and then they have pretty much nothing, so I think that's worthwhile. Toxin on Krark here. They could have like a Scred as their last card. They have an Ethereal Haze. Prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn. All damage that would be dealt by creatures this turn. Oh, not combat damage. That's interesting. So that would blank the Krark. Okay, so now I could just sack 5 artifacts, which could wipe their board. They'll have nothing except for a bunch of birds. And I can then Fanatical the Krark. So, yeah, let's do that. I'm going to fling some Familiars because they're going to get blanked by birds anyway. I mean, not if I throw something else at them. Let's throw this. We have 2. Float some mana. 3, 4. Yeah, let's keep one of these. 5. And then Fanatical the Krark. Alright. So we grow our Infiltrator, we wipe their board, all of their Ephemerates are going to fizzle. They do get to fog us, but they're top decking. And they do have a Bonder's Ornament, and they have some creatures here. And nothing deals damage this turn. Okay, so I could play a Krark. I could just leave up mana. Let's play Krark. I mean, that was pretty good for us, I think. They got a preordain. A lot of stuff on the stack there. But if they don't draw a removal or anything, of which their Skred's not going to kill this, then I can pretty much just ping off all their birds with lands, Lembas, etc., and then get in for lethal. They are playing black, and we haven't seen a reason for that yet, so could just be like cast downs or flashback mystical teachings or something. They do have an Archaeomancer, which we're obviously going to blow up their graveyard in response to. Grow the Infiltrator, no. Vault is perfect because we need more lands, or rather more artifacts to throw. So here's a Lembas, another Gixian. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 mana. I throw 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I sack 2 artifacts. Yeah, we should have lethal here. So we'll just float a bunch of mana. Krark, 1, 2. Yeah, so Krark for 2 here to kill the Archaeomancer. And then munitions, throw. Stream a little choppy for anyone else. I am seeing dropped frames. So let me deal with that in just a second. Or try to. Alright, pick off all their birds, attack for lethal. I made sure they can activate Ornament, but they don't have any mana left over, so they can't get a fog or anything. My upload is like fine. I might try restarting my internet here. Give me a second. Is this any better? Here's hoping. Drop frames has dropped. The number of frames that has dropped has gone down, that is. Good so far. Cool. Hopefully that'll be alright. Sideboarding, I think I'm just taking out Krarks, Toxin, and Lembas for some more removal, hand attack, Pharamacobs. The old 1-lander. Not going to cut it. The old 0-lander. Way better. 1-lander again. I guess we'll keep this one. The Wildfires make up for a lot of advantage early. And hopefully I draw land. Get rid of... I don't want to get rid of all my interaction. These guys. Maybe like this. So I still have something to sacrifice if I want to. Plus it's a 1-drop I can play if I don't draw land. Although if I don't draw land, I'll be screwed. Perfect. Hope I don't get Revoke Existence or Dusted, but... Alright. Pull out a forest just in case I draw a Chrysalis and an untapped land in my Wildfire plus next draw. Which obviously I didn't, but that's fine. Preordain. We've drawn well so far, considering I'm mulligan to 5. Like, 2 lands in a row is good. Now that we have that, plus the Wildfires, I probably don't need to draw more lands, but I will. I mean, I'll go for another Wildfire. This way, if they do just, like, blow up our lands with a Dust to Dust or something, we're still honestly not in a terrible spot. We are drawing now too many lands, but that's how it goes, of course. There's the Dust to Dust. Now it's better that we drew the lands. We could still probably afford to stop. Kind of feel... They missed a land drop, which is nice. Stream works now. Great. I could vault and then sack the Spellbomb to draw 3, but then I'm not getting a bridge down. I think I'll just play a bridge, and we can leave this up just in case. If you could ban any card in Pauper, what would it be? Good question. Well, I think there's 2 different questions there, which is, what's the most broken card? Like, what should be banned versus what would I personally not like to play against? Because what is the card that I think should be banned, if anything? Kind of a tough question. I mean, I think the most broken deck is probably Mono Red Madness, the best deck in the format, of course. So I guess something from there. But what would it be? I mean, like, I don't think banning Lava Dart is, like, great. I think that's really silly. But Lava Dart's existence does make it harder for brews that just rely on, like, 1 toughness creatures. Makes them much more difficult to utilize. I think Grab the Prize might be the best card in that deck. So, I don't know. Something like that, probably. But what would I not want to play against ever again? Priest of Titanium, maybe? Not the biggest fan of playing against elves. Spy. Something like that. They have an Ephemerate coming off Rebound. I could try to terminate this guy, which probably we should try to do, but feels like it's probably not going to work. Munitions plus KCS easily. Ban cards until Nettle Sentinel is playable again, lol. Those are some very powerful cards. I don't think they're the ones that I would be banning. I know Kurt Clan Shaman is definitely extremely powerful, but I think it's also one of the main ways to keep a deck like Elves or even Rally like not too powerful, because those decks are really good otherwise. I mean, they're already really good, but even better if there's fewer board wipes in the format. I'm going to crack the Spellbomb just because I have the Fairy Macabre and I want to draw a card here. Let's cycle Landscape. I could Duress, but I'm not actually pushing anything through that I really care about, so let's just do a Wellspring. Could play Spellbomb. Sure. I don't care if they counter it because we have the Macabre anyway. And they do. Play this and pass. Hi, Marsh. I'm also heading to Pauper Genesis. Would it be okay to ask for an autograph if I see you there? Absolutely. I can't say I have an amazing signature, but feel free. Yeah, I love talking with people who know me from the channel, and happy to do something like that for you. Use a Fairy Macabre to make sure they don't get back a counter spell. They still have an Archaeomancer on the field, which is kind of annoying, but we'll Duress to try to get this Chrysalis through a counter spell or a Scred. Hydroblast, Lorien. Don't care about the Haze. I mean, I think I have to take the Scred if I want Chrysalis to survive. But Scred is just a 1-for-1, and then being able to Lorien revealed next turn is actually much worse for us. So I almost want to just take the Lorien. I think we need to. I think that's more important. Do I even care to cast a Chrysalis now then? There's not really a way to get around the Scred unless they use it on something else first. So I think Reveal is the pick. Yeah, I agree. I think it's important to keep their value down. I mean, I guess I should probably just cast it, because if I get like a draw spell, sack a Wellspring, all the mana will be helpful, even the spawns. Like, I could map onto it, but they could still just Scred in response. So that doesn't make any sense. Conversely, is there any card that you'd personally want to see unbanned? Every time I'm asked that, I'd have to like relook at the ban list. But to be honest, every time I look at it, no, it seems pretty good. I think the most everything on the ban list is either Storm payoffs, which I don't care for, Affinity payoffs, which I like Affinity, but they are absolutely too powerful cards, or like busted blue cards. Like, we don't need Daze in the format. I'm gonna bin a Duress and pass. So yeah, the cards like Bonder's Ornament and Prophetic Prism, as of a little while ago, were cards that I didn't personally care if they were banned or unbanned, because I wasn't really going to play them, but I didn't think needed to be probably at this point. And since they're unbanned and doing some cool things but not being overly powerful, I'm totally fine with that. Cycle a Landscape. So yeah, I think the ban list is pretty good where it's at. I don't think there's any cards from there that I want to see again. Another Lorien. This one definitely getting that, or rather another Archaeomancer getting the Lorien. Come on, give me a draw spell. Okay, I guess that's kind of a draw spell. Okay. Chrysalis. I agree. I've always thought the ban list was pretty fair. Yeah, I think it's pretty good, and with the Pauper format panel being a little more present than other formats, I feel like the cards that got banned a couple years ago that have undergone changes or just aren't that powerful now, they've tried to get back in the format. Whereas, like, I don't play that much Modern or anything like that, but I know Modern still has a bunch of cards banned that probably don't need to be, at least from what I've heard. Augur Bolas. So I think we're in a good spot there. Cranial Ram for a trial unbanned. I mean, if Cranial Ram was trial unbanned, I would be playing it, so I'd be having a good time, but I think it would be the most busted card out there. Affinity would soar from like the third best deck to the tier 0 deck, I think. I mean, hell, a Jund could probably play it. Like, look at my board right now. I have 7 artifacts. I could just make each one of these spawn in turn as they die, like 7 2s. And yeah, and then if you kill it, I would just make the next one a 7-2, and then the next one, and the next one. Which seems pretty good to me. They're going to block and go for an Ephemerate, I assume, which I will try to cast down in response. We'll see if that works. They have a Dispel, I assume. Yeah. Unfortunate. I mean, we have double Chrysalis, which is kind of cool, but now they have Ephemerate or Chaomancer with nothing slowing them down, which means I probably just lose. I mean, they don't have like a counter spell yet to just like continuously buy back, but probably will at some point. Wouldn't mind a minor tweak to Mono Red Madness, but I agree meta isn't a good spot. Yeah, I think I like the meta, but I do think that most powerful decks are a little too powerful. That is absolutely the best card I could have drawn, because not only is it a draw spell, even if it gets countered by, you know, them ephemerating and dispelling, I get to draw 1 here, plus I can flash it back. Whole meta kind of revolves around Madness Burn. Yes, 100%. Of course, Burn's always prevalent in the format, and so always having access to some sort of life gain or something in the sideboard is always important, but I agree. It's even more than is reasonable, because it's like, not only do you need to have life gain, but you also need to have removal early enough, but you also need to have, you know, a million other things. I guess we should be sacrificing some more spawn. So yeah, I think Madness Burn is a little too powerful. I wonder if the whole meta will briefly revolve around Skybow combo. Yeah, it could. I don't think it's going to be that strong based on what I've seen, but I could definitely be wrong. Could be very good. Go for a Wildfire. What would you take for Madness Burn to knock it down? Yeah, we were just talking about that. I think Grab the Prize would probably be the card. Don't really know how we do anything here. I could attack with the Chrysalises, and then they just attack back. I guess I can attack with 1. Yeah, I don't know. The problem with Madness Burn is that the deck's so redundant. It has like 2 copies of almost all of its key pieces. So like you can take Grab the Prize, but then they still have Faithless Looting and Highway Robbery, which are both, I would say, worse, but still really good. Right. They have Ephemerate. Probably should have left more mana, but I kind of think I just should kill this Archaeomancer by throwing a couple of these. So we're going to do that. Yeah, so that Lava Dart is a pretty powerful card, or Fire Blast, but like I don't really think any of these cards personally need to be banned. You could also say Gutter Snipe, because it's the reason the deck is as good as it is. Taking Flame Breather doesn't do anything because they just replace it with Thermal Alchemist, and that's only slightly worse. But Gutter Snipe is a ton of damage. Like Gutter Snipe is the reason that, like, you know, they can have 2 Lava Darts and just deal you 12 damage or whatever. So mostly been on Food Pest, but thinking about trying Emblem Gardens at Pauper Genesis just to be a little faster if Skyboat is prevalent. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I have also very tentatively been considering Food Pest, but just not confident in my ability to play fast enough, / my opponent not playing fast enough, that I'll actually not draw a bunch. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm there yet with the deck. Galaxy and Infiltrator, sure. Gutter Snipe IMO could be replaced with Thermal Alchemist and would play pretty much the same. That one, I don't think it'd play pretty much the same. It would be very similar, but like obviously it would not have quite as explosive of turns. But I agree, it would be still very powerful and probably still a tier 1 deck. So yeah, maybe it should be Gutter Snipe. Like Gutter Snipe is one of those cards that before Madness happened, I would have been like, this card's bad. It's way too expensive for this kind of a deck. But it's just the amount of free cards the deck is able to play that makes it okay that it's 3 mana, because it has Flashback, Lava Dart, Fire Blast, and Applauded Highway Robbery. That makes it very good. Dust to Dust. I'm pretty much dead, and I'm below on time, so I should probably just go to the next game. If they were like way lower on time, I could just keep playing it out, but Probably should make sure I have enough time to win the last game if we have that chance. StrataGames Brew is a good replacement for Grab the Prize. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like the next, like they just replace it with another card down the line, and it is worse because Grab is like so good, but it doesn't hinder the deck that much. All right, this one's fine. I think we'll get rid of the cast down, start with a bridge, and pass. I think Grab the Prize is the pick. It's always the cherry, the gutter snipe cake. Yeah, I mean, it is busted. The fact that you do it with like Fiery Temper, it's 5 damage for 3 mana, plus you don't go down any cards, or it's, 9 damage if you have a gutter snipe, is pretty outrageous. But yeah, you still can get a lot of that same value. What are we doing here? I guess just refurb and munitions. Or I could leave up Fanatical for refurb if they try to kill it, which they probably will with a Scred right here, so let's do that. And if they don't, that's fine too. Augur, Fanged Flames. Not Nick 420 subscribed to the Prime for 4 months. Thanks so much for that. Not Nick. One day we'll figure out who you are. Play another refurb. How dare Twitch not notify me? Oof. That is rough. We gotta take it up with Twitch at some point. Figure out what's going on. I think I'll leave up Offering again. I could like duress into a munitions, but then they get to Fanged Flames for free, which feels like they might want to do anyway, depending on how their hand is looking. And if they don't, that's also fine by me. Attack for 1. We're also leaving up Cast Down if they try to like ephemerate this, which is something. Gixian. We'll attack for 4. Now they're going to Scred. We get the Offering. 2. Landscape. I don't want to play the Infiltrator until the Flames is gone, which I guess it is right now. Although I don't have the black for it anymore. But I wanted to have the ability to either the Flames be gone or the it to just be able to outgrow the Flames quickly enough. They get an Augur. They whiff on the Augur. That's great for us. They got 2 Mole Drifters, but we have Chrysalis Infiltrator coming. So I think we just play Chris, play Infiltrator. And I guess I could have mapped, but I also leave up the ability to throw something with munitions this way, which might be better if they try to kill something. They just Mole Drifter. Totally fine. Bridge. Sack a spawn for a mana. Actually, maybe I should have just sacked the spawn to the munitions. But whatever. Let's try to grow our refurb, I guess, since the others are already growing. Duress on top. We'll get rid of that. Cast down the Mole Drifter just so I can attack with everything and not lose the refurb, because we're trying to just pressure a ton. They chump just 1. They chump the wrong one because I can grow the Infiltrator here. In fact, if they're taking 8, I could make it 9, 10, 11, 12. I think we'd rather just save our artifacts for like pinging down a Mole Drifter or something. Me and my sister play Paper Pauper pretty much every day for the last week. She's been playing exclusively Flicker and Fog decks. How do I get her to stop? I don't know. I've been trying to get people to stop playing those decks for forever, and it does not work. I'll take out the Scred and the Lorien here, since they're trying to get him with the Archaeomancer, and we win the match. All right. That was a close one. We had a pretty good start there. We did okay in that game, too, despite the fact that we went to 5 on that mulligan, so that was kind of cool. Some kind of catapult or something, maybe. Get a new sister. I mean, those do seem to be the solutions. Seems tough otherwise. Have you tried Hypnosis? Because that could work, too, potentially. All right, on the play, and this hand is not the best ever. We have turn 2 Wildfire into a potential turn 3 Chrysalis, which is fantastic. But 2 cast downs is a lot early, and we just have no card advantage except for the Wildfire. So if we get a little flooded, we could be in some trouble. There's a land which is Not terrible because it's untapped, so this is going to let us go for the turn 3 Chris, which can pressure hugely. But if we keep drawing lands, we could be in some trouble. Do you think the no combo will blow Jund out of the meta? What is our plan to deal with that Snuff Out main? Yeah, definitely not going to blow us out of the meta. If it becomes a problem, yes, Snuff Out is exactly what we're going to do. It's the exact same thing that Jund did when Broodscale was around. Yeah, I think we're just going to play Chris. So yeah, I think, like, I already kind of had this plan of if I played Jund once the combo's out, which I guess it comes to MTGO tomorrow, doesn't it? I'll probably just switch to like 2 cast down, 3 snuff out or something in the main deck, just preemptively, and then I'll try not to get run over by that combo. But it could also just be, you know, keep playing the deck, and then if it becomes a problem in the meta, do that. But I'm anticipating a lot of people will be trying it out, so I'll probably just try to do it, get ahead of it. But yeah, I mean, our answer is already like, cast down's a great answer. It's 2 mana, but it answers it pretty nicely. Obviously, they can have Tamiyo safekeeping, stuff like that, but it's still decent. And let's see, I could attack if I want to. If they double block, I could cast one down. They have a bunch of blood fountains. I don't think we need to do that. Let's just pass. Yeah, Snuff Out's going to be the main thing, but we also have Krark, so like we have a lot of ways to already fight it. But again, yeah, if it becomes a problem, we'll definitely move to the Snuff Outs. All right, block Enforcer. I guess we might as well block here and then chump the Enforcer. I assume they're going to have a Toxin Analysis, but I can just cast it down, so it's not a big deal. Or they have a Galv Blast, which is fine as well, because then I can just Offering it, because I can't save it. Yeah, let's just sack it. Asking because I will be going to Paupergeddon, and I'm quite afraid of it being infested with combo. It definitely could be. Like, it really depends on how good the combo is. And Paupergeddon is, I don't remember exactly, but it's in a couple of weeks. So there's a couple of weeks for the deck to be played and maybe show it's not as good as people think. But it could also be decent. And people will certainly be trying it out, I think. Do you have any plans to try Skybow combo yourself? Not specifically. I'm not much of a combo player. I will probably be the one fighting the good fight against the combo players. Let's just pass here. Personally, I think the combo needs more support or a change in meta or something. Yeah, any of the lists that I've seen so far don't seem that good. Like, just trying to shoehorn it into basically like Basking Broodscale, old deck lists. Like, it seems fine, but it doesn't seem like the best thing ever. So I think that if it's going to be a problem, it's going to probably be in a way that we haven't seen yet. Like, a list that we haven't seen yet. I could cast this down. Then they have 2 cards to get back with the Blood Fountain. They recast the Mirror Enforcer immediately, which I don't really want. Plus, they could just, like, Reckoner's Bargain it, maybe. Siege Smash. That's another option for sure. Siege Smash allows you to blow up the artifact, and they can't even Tamiyo safekeeping it. And they're going to crack a Spell Bomb. Sure. Yeah, I think it's probably, since we're in black, I think it's probably easier for us to just answer the creature side of it. But Siege Smash is not a bad idea either. I guess I'm going to cast this down. Probably should have done it before damage then, but like, because they are going to get them back, but I guess I got to slow them down somehow. I guess finding a Spell Bomb would be pretty nice to do that. In fact, maybe I cycle this landscape here, because if I find a Spell Bomb, it's pretty dang good. Another landscape. I think I might want to hold on to that. Let's map onto this. Chrysalis, obviously we'll keep. Pass. Genless makes no sense to me. We don't need black like Broodscale did, and Gruul has enough digging and protection by itself. It's definitely for the card draw and not the protection, I don't think. But I'm not sure I agree with you, because I feel like red and green don't have the raw card draw that black does. Green has Lead the Stampede and Winding Way, but you're trying to not just find a creature, you're trying to find an artifact, so those don't really work. And then red has a lot of either impulse or discard and draw. And the discard and draw can be okay, but it's also just like less efficient. Like, most of that is 2 mana for your grab the prize or whatever, and you don't really care about damage in that case, or like highway robbery is okay, but I don't know. I think it makes sense to me why they're trying black. I think we're just trying to pass still. I'm not sure if I should put more duress to force it to discard the bow, or more ancient grudge to have instant speed with flashback response. Yeah, I think instant speed is the answer, because like the bow can come down on turn 1, and then duress is useless, right? I mean, duress can take a time of safekeeping or other forms of protection, but I don't think that's really what you want to be doing. They're just attacking with this, which is weird, because if they have another galvanic blast, feels like they would attack with everything, right? Because they just blast this. Although I have an extra spawn, so that's probably Toxin Analysis this time, in which case I have the cast down. So I could have traded these, but I'm expecting a Toxin. So yeah, I think instant speed answers is probably the way. Viewing duress as a form of protection. Yeah, that's a good point. I was not thinking about that. I mean, duress is pretty good because it's very proactive. They have the bargain this time. I'd go Gruul with demand answers and the new Vision of Love alongside Wellspring. Yeah, I think that's okay. Like, not playing a third color is obviously very good, but those cards are, I would say, generally worse than the black equivalents. Infiltrator's pretty good. Let's play Infiltrator. I probably want to play Krark to counteract their potential Krark in case they try to give it Death Touch. I could also attack. Yeah, let's do this. I can still cycle the landscape, and we'll attack with a Refurb. We have good blockers. Green has Commune with Beavers, which finds a creature or artifact. I can't remember exactly the text of that one, but doesn't it only look at like 3 for a mana? Because like that's okay, but it's not amazing for sure. Malevolent Rumble and call damage control. Maybe Hanger Scrounger is a backup way to combo. Yes, Rumble is pretty good. Can find either of them. Makes your mana. Call damage control could definitely be fine. Hanger Scrounger is a backup combo. Yeah, it could probably be fine as well. Have you seen that Simic Terror deck that plays Slime Against Humanity? I've seen some lists a while ago. I haven't seen a recent one. It sounds interesting. I'm not sure if it's any good. Could be cool though. Someone in my local who will be all over that. Yeah, definitely sounds like something up a certain type of person's alley. If you knew about this, I'd be playing Mono Blue Terror or Mono Blue Fairies, not Jund. Now it's just practice the common matchups and hope to not face the combo. Yeah, that's fair. They have a makeshift munitions. Okay, but they're tapped out. So this seems like a pretty important turn. Let's cycle this. They could try to make something happen here with a Krark, but another Chrysalis. Okay. Not terrible. I mean, I think we're using our Krark to wipe the board, probably. Problem is, our Krark plus their Krark's definitely going to kill our Chrysalis. So I could do this after the spawn resolve to grow these, but like before this Chrysalis resolves, I could force the issue. I probably should have tapped some of these, but I also have munitions to try to throw something at their Krark. They're going to think long and hard about this, which is totally fair. I mean, because of course they have enough artifacts to sack and wipe our whole board, but they'd have to, you know, if they lose too many, it could be very devastating for them. As soon as we get to 4 artifacts, they get to sack the Enforcers for free. Like, this is going to be 8 toughness. I think this Chrysalis probably dies no matter what. But the Infiltrator grows every time I sack something to munitions, which is kind of what we're hoping to do, I think. Yeah, because if they sacrifice now, they could sack just like 6 artifacts. Yeah, okay, they're going for it. Sack a Wellspring. So I'm going to have to sack something in response, because otherwise they just let it go and the Infiltrator dies, and that's fine for them, because our Krark also dies, which means I should throw something with the munitions, which will be at an Enforcer, or maybe I just killed the Monitor. This is already killing itself, so I don't actually need to throw something at it. Sure, let's throw at the Monitor. This is about to be a very complicated stack, that's for sure. I have nothing in hand, so they'll sack Mirror Enforcer right away. Okay. Are they just going all in immediately? 4 artifacts. because they should be interspersing these. The fact that they're doing it this way, I guess it doesn't really matter, because anything I sack to Krark is going to keep this at the same virtual toughness, and anything I sack to munitions, I can only do 3. So I don't think I can save the Infiltrator. They are sacking enough to probably kill the Chrysalis too. But the fact that they're doing it all here makes it so I don't have to spend a bunch of resources on it, which is pretty good for us. Because if I'd already thrown 3 things at like the monitor, they could sack that as a free one. Okay, so they have 6 on the stack, so it's gonna kill this. It's gonna kill all of these. So I can just sack them all for free, basically. So I'll use this as mana. Right, I don't think there's any way I can keep the Infiltrator alive, because it's gonna take 6 damage from their things. I could sacrifice only 3 more without dealing itself damage. Yeah, okay. Well, let's kill the monitor. Sack the creatures to kill the monitor at least. Yes, definitely doing that. 12 effects on the stack as Richard Garfield intended. Absolutely. I didn't even throw a 3rd at the monitor yet, and they're already sacking it already. They're sacking it already, which is just giving us free value, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, this is already all going to die, so I guess I'll just ping them for a couple of damage. Let's throw the Chrysalis. And let me take a couple of those resolved when I wasn't trying to let them resolve. But let's take a quick snapshot of that, because that's really funny. All right. I guess the one time the yield to all button is useful. Get everything off the stack. The good news is this was all with our Chrysalis on the stack. So we have not just a refurb, but a Chrysalis. They only have 4 lands. So if they sack the Blood Fountain for like a Mere Enforcer, they can't even cast it right away. Now they felt like they had to do that so that the Chrysalis, our other Chrysalis wouldn't survive, or our Gixian, but they might not have been able to if they sacked that much anyway. I'm not sure they played that right. They definitely did not play. It was a very complicated situation, but they definitely made a few mistakes. Not waiting for us to commit fully to killing their creatures before they started sacrificing them, stuff like that. And they have an Enforcer. I mean, that's pretty decent recovery, I will say. Bridge. So I could attack with a Chrysalis, but they block here, and then they throw one thing, and they pick off the Chrysalis. So I'm not going to do that. I am just going to pick off the hero. We should do it in their upkeep, so they have to use a mana to throw with the munitions. But I want to pick this off, because on the off chance they get like Thoughtcast into something, like I could take a lot of damage from this guy. So let's throw a Spawn. I guess this is in the situation where, like, since I let them untap, they could throw 4 things at this Chrysalis to kill it, but if they want to do that, that's also fine by us. I think that was a total of 20, and I might have missed some. Yeah, it was a lot of triggers. I don't know if I could play that right. Again, it was a very complicated situation, and from their position, I could have definitely made some mistakes too. Our position was a little bit easier, so like maybe I made a mistake, but it wasn't anything massive, I don't think. Yeah, the fact that they did put so many artifacts out last turn does let them just double Enforcer here. It's a little annoying, but they are getting close to dead. They're at, if I attack for 3, at a virtual 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things to throw. Kind of makes me want to use some mana now, sacking at least the Spawn. But if I get like a Fanatical Offering, I'm going to want the Spawn, so I think we untap. There's the Fanatical Offering. I'm best around. Sack this. Another Fanatical Offering. Cast down. Sack the map, turn into a map. We do need to be wary of them attacking, because if we attack with this, only have 1 blocker, they could get in for 8, and if they have an untapped land, I could die if I don't have like a cast down or a Lembas up. In fact, I should probably just cast down now. So I think what I'm going to do is map here, cast down. I actually don't think I need that, because I'm going to cast down now, and I'm going to leave up 1 mana just so I have a munitions if they have a way to kill something. And then they pretty much have to kill this refurb or get a blocker for it or some life gain or something. Otherwise, I'll be able to hit them for 4 and then just finish them with munitions. Also, how is your list? Mine is similar to Walker's, but with some changes. 1 less Gixian to place Toxin. Yeah, Galvanic on the refurb. We'll throw at them. 1 less Dispute. 1 less 61st card. Interesting. Yeah, the deck list is there, so feel free to take a look. But it's probably very similar to Walker's. I usually follow his list pretty closely, and then I kind of change it based on how I feel. So the main difference is that I play a 21st land, which every single time I've played without, I regret. So even though I know he knows what he's doing, I prefer the 21st land. So I play a Bojuka Bog in place of a Spell Bomb usually. And then, yeah, I don't know exactly where I'm at in comparison there. I'm on 3 Gixians here because I also wanted 2 Toxins in the main, which I know he's gone away from. But the Toxin has been very good for me. Or rather, very necessary, I think. Just trying to make sure that we don't die. If they get like they can't have a cast down, so attack 4, they need 10. I think we'll probably be fine because we don't have the ability to kill them. So I'm just trying to build up our mana and our artifacts so that we can. Next turn, Fanatical. All right, let's play a Lembas. Just on the off chance they get like enough burn, they could Thoughtcast into 3 Galvanics or whatever. I don't think I really need that, to be honest. Land is good. So if they have enough burn, I actually have a Lembas to gain a little bit extra life, survive. And now we have 7 artifacts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. So plus I have a Chris. So yeah, I should be able to kill them no matter what. They have a Monitor. That's not going to do it. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so if I just throw Wellspring, Lembas, and then untap, play it a Wellspring, we'll have enough. I feel like the opponent's made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, they've made they have not been playing perfectly, but that's okay. Vault, play Wellspring, and we just have enough to get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it'd be 7. So yeah, let's just start throwing. They have no cards in hand, no way to gain life. All right. And even if they did have a way to gain life, I actually have 8 mana and 8 cards to throw, which means if they had a way to gain life in between, I could just respond to it with another sacrifice. Often good when you're dealing with stacks of lands to just float the mana, because I have accidentally sacrificed an untapped land before, which threw off my math and made me lose. So, have you ever tried this card before? Horrid Vigor. Target creature gains Death Touch and Indestructible for 1 and a green. I certainly have not. It's cool that the Death Touch makes it so your card can survive, but I'm not sure it's actually... I think it's probably still worse than like a Toxin, because lifelink is so crucial. 1 mana is a lot better, and the clue, clue is great because it can just give you an extra card, but also if Toxin is not useful, it can just be 1 extra card, without wasting a card. So 21st land is the Sagu. Oh yeah, sure. Took the Blood Fountains out, but today I felt super strong. Yeah, the Blood Fountain was something that I felt like was so crucial to the deck that I thought it was crazy to take out, and then I started trying it out, and I have not missed it for a second. So pretty happy with it where we're at. Just makes the rats stronger and the deck more resilient. Yeah, the Blood Fountains, like, with rats is really good, but it's just like, if you're just drawing more cards, it's okay. It's not too bad. And yeah, I've tried 21 with Saga Wilding as my 21st, and I just like the Bojuka Bog a lot better. So that's where I'm at. Okay, I think these are the 5 we want to bring in. Take out the Krarks. I mean, we really don't need the Toxins either. It's probably just these. Let's do that. Keeps your Krark alive. Costing 2 is a big downside, though. Yeah. Got a mulligan. Got a mulligan. Unless we draw perfectly, but... Alright, this one's okay. I want to get rid of a land, but I think that's too greedy. Ooh, but getting rid of 2 of these is really rough. I guess we're going to do this? No, probably keep Refurb. Now, this is more value, though. Like, if we get a... I mean, I don't like this position very much, but I'm going to get rid of these. Try to focus on our own development, but also our sideboard card that's just too strong to not play, I think, or not keep. Black Mage's Rod. Chrysalis is good if we get some green. Refurb. Ancient Grudge is too good. I think I'm going to get rid of a Chrysalis here. Everything else is pretty good, and also Chrysalis, if we don't get green, is definitely our worst card. They have mana to sacrifice. I think I want to Grudge a land in their upkeep, or maybe I just want to cast down like a hero. Don't think I care, about the Bojuka Bog that much. I'd rather use this in their upkeep. And we need to take less damage. So I'm going to cast down the hero, I think. Need to playtest more, but I think the difference between this choices are kind of nuanced, but the core plan stays the same. They're going to Galvanic Blast us in response. Yeah, for sure. What you want to change in the deck list, like I think most of the deck lists are going to be the same 50, if not 55 cards with just a little bit of, do you like one or two more threats? Do you like a little more card draw or whatever? And I agree. Kind of want to grudge this in their upkeep, but I also kind of want to hit land drops, but I also kind of want to not die. So we're going to try to kill this. Doing it in their upkeep, so if they have a bargain, they have to use it on their own turn. Waste that mana. Thoughtcast into bridge. Okay. Stabilized. What could their cards be? That's a good draw. Probably more blue spells, and they can only play one a turn. Well, I guess we'll just find out. Could be a bunch of Utrum monitors that I can't take. I did kind of expect another Galvanic because they were trying to burn us out earlier. Toxin and a land. Okay. We're low on life, but we've hit all our land drops. They have nothing going on currently. We could definitely recover from this. They just play a bridge. Twisted Landscape. Okay, I'll play that. That allows me to use Wellspring right away, which I think we do now, because if they get another Galvanic, I mean, they probably wait to use it on us, but if they draw it on their turn, they're going to use it to kill Chrysalis probably, and I don't want that. In response to the spawn trigger, that is. Another Chris. They did get a draw spell. Sack their land. Oh, we took the Toxin. I was like, wait, where did their Toxin go? I duressed it. Totally forgot. There's a Wellspring. Thoughtcast. Duress. Okay, gets our cast down. Viscerator's Insight. Gonna play this. And we're just going for damage quickly, I think. So we're gonna sack. Insight a spawn. Wellspring. Sure. I'll go for a Wellspring over a map. Could be one more damage, but this is more mana efficient. Swing for 6. Next turn we can hit for 11, maybe 12. So very close. If I get another Chrysalis or munitions or something we could kill. How do you feel about janky deck donations? I ask for absolutely no reason in particular. I love them. The crazier the deck, the more interesting. Huge fan. As long as you know I promise no good results. If I have a janky pile, I might get an 05, but as long as that's okay with you, I love playing wacky decks. Deck still has to be playable, of course. I mean, I will technically do whatever you want, but if you give me a deck of 60 lands, then it's going to be a very quick, uninteresting video. But if you want to do that, you're allowed to. Let's see. I think I want to Viscerator's Insight first here. Because I do need to be careful. I'm very low on life. So I think I'm going to refurb, and I'm going to hold up this Ancient Grudge for if they try to like attach the rod to something. What are they doing? Oh, drawing in response. Sure. Otherwise, I have wacky things, all right? I hear he loves combo decks. I say this for no reason in particular. I am willing to play any combo deck you want me to for a deck donation. Good use of free will, exactly. I could attack with both. If they get a Galvanic Blast, it goes right at our face as opposed to at this guy. So then I could block here, Ancient Grudge this guy. I think I should attack with both, actually. Because their removal is going to double his damage. So it's not like they're going to get a cast down, which is going to add more damage. And then I have one way to kill one of their creatures. And this pretty much puts them dead next turn. So then they could be on the back foot. What do you think of Dimir Fairies lists? I love Dimir Fairies. Big fan. If you want me to play Dimir Fairies, I will certainly be doing that. All right, we'll pass. I mean, look at the kind of shit I'm sometimes brewing. I'll take a look here. I'm very scared. They have an Enforcer. This is the deck by Zamacure. So we got Horseshoe Crab, of course. This deals 1 damage to any target. Then you give it so when it deals damage, you draw a card. Same there. So it's a blue mana, deal damage, draw a card. Or Retraction, Helix, Shore Up. Yeah, this looks kind of cool. Absolute pile, 10 out of 10. Exactly. Looks sweet. It doesn't win a lot. It looks like it could use some help. Maybe some new cards or something, but it is a cool idea. I mean, I'm brewing decks like that all the time that I never even play because they're absolute piles, but big fan of brewing them. Building it for locals this week. Trying out a list from Barf. Sweet. Sounds great. I mean, truth be told, our second league today is going to be Dimir Fairies. It's another deck that I'm potentially thinking about using for or playing in at Pauper Genesis. I'm not sold on it, but it's something I've been thinking about. Okay, they're gonna munitions. That puts us dead next turn. I'm gonna grudge this in response. It's very funny though. Natural enemy to elves. Yeah. Is that the one in Pittsburgh? Pauper Genesis is in Baltimore, I believe. But yeah, it's happening in a few weeks. It's probably going to be pretty sweet. Looking forward to it. I have a spell bomb. Tap out of the munitions. So if I can get one kill spell, we have them dead. Hey, that works. That absolutely works. Cast with Bargain. Sack this. Exile an Enforcer. And swing for lethal. We win the match. Very nice for us. We will keep this hand. Looks pretty good. Have you ever played Kamigawa Block, Pauper, Tiny Leaders? Can't say that I have. It sounds interesting. So many words for a single format name. That's a lot for sure. Veteran. Looks like we're against White Weenie. I think we need to make sure we hit our land drops. So I'm going to Lembus and then Toxin is decent. Well, I'll bottom it and I'll still get a Toxin. This way I can also Eviscerate his Insight to draw 2 next turn. If we don't hit a land through all of that, then what are you going to do? Skyfisher, pick up Inspector, or maybe a Plains. Inspector it is. They have the land. Maybe we could test a Cavern Harpy and Fairies. You know, I have been meaning to do that for a little while, and I know we've talked about it, so yeah, we can probably make that happen. I mean, I gotta hit these lands. Will I hit the land? Who knows? No. Toxin's not that important. I mean, the life gain could be good, but the death touch is not that relevant. Spell bomb is sometimes decent. I think I'll do Toxin and Infiltrator here. Now I have to stay tuned all the time. Perfect. I'll keep you here for a couple hours. But yeah, I really had been meaning to test it for a little while and just have forgotten about it. But yeah, we'll give it a try. We're definitely going to die here. That's the good news. They have Leonardo, so we're taking 6. I mean, maybe I should have kept the Toxin because while I don't generally need the Death Touch, with so few artifacts on board, I kind of do. And especially with a couple 3 toughness guys, it would have been better. So yeah, I probably should have gotten rid of a Chrysalis or something, but Wildfire, perfect. Kirk, I mean, they have 9 damage on board, so the chances that we die if I don't have a blocker are like 100%. So I guess I just refurb. Very frustrating. What did you end up thinking of Pepper Smoke last time you played it? I thought Pepper Smoke was not bad. I kind of liked it. I thought the Illusionist was pretty lackluster, but you don't necessarily have to be playing that to play the Pepper Smoke, and I kind of liked it. So I could definitely see playing that a little bit more. I guess a Toxin would be good. Okay, I don't have to Toxin. I can just Wellspring, Krark, and I'll sack the Spell Bomb here and do it for 3. And we'll just lose the Spell Bomb value. We're doing it now because they could have a Prismatic or a Guardian's Pledge or whatever. There is a possibility we could survive this. Probably starts with us getting an untapped Mountain or Forest for a Chrysalis next turn, but after that, let's try Page Loose Leaf in your Cycle Storm list. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been meaning to get to that, so that'll be coming soon. I also wish I could have Bajuka last turn because they're about to just get 2 Phantoms, which is actually lethal in the air. And with no land, I can't Chrysalis. Yeah, super close, actually, to being something. But unfortunately, we're dead. So we get Breath Weapon. In general, we don't really need single target removal that much, but like Leonardo makes that a little different. Cast Down obviously doesn't hit Leonardo, so probably be bringing in Go for the Throat and Terminate. Not sure we really need anything else. Like Duress is honestly not bad, even though they're kind of a creature deck. They have a lot of really important spells, including Dust to Dust. So actually, Duress might be worth it. Didn't have a good connection earlier. Hope everything is well. Yeah, things are going all right. A little bit of connection issues as well here. Is that a snack that you're sneaking? It is. Eating an apple, trying not to chomp in everyone's ears here. So yeah, probably duress, which means munitions is decent. It's not the best thing ever, especially because they can blow it up, but Cork is okay. I mean, like I said, if I have a decent start, I don't actually need the toxins that much, but the life gain can be good. Probably, like, maybe toxins. Ban that sneaky snacker. No, please don't. Random question, do you have a favorite set? Yes, I do. My favorite set of all time is Mirrored and Besieged. It's right when I started playing. Scars of Mirrored and Block as a whole is like my favorite. Big fan. I think you also asked, and I forgot to answer, like if I have a favorite mechanic. Because of Mirrored and Besieged, honestly, like Battlecry is so simple but really cool. I do like Metalcraft a lot. Ninjutsu is super cool. I thought sagas were really cool for a while until they did them every set for like 5 years in a row. We're missing out on that sweet ASMR content. Oh, for sure. What is your favorite fruit or vegetable? Favorite fruit is mango, then pineapple. Just exceptional fruit. Favorite vegetable, broccoli, probably. Big fan of Brussels sprouts. I mean, potatoes, of course. Who can go wrong with those? Sweet potatoes are pretty good, too. I'm not that picky when it comes to food. I like most everything. But, yeah, like mango, pineapple, and then probably like a peach. I just like those very juicy, very sweet fruits. Nice juicy mango on a warm day. Let's get a hell yeah in chat. Yeah. Bunch of hell yeahs from everyone. Please. Cleansing Wildfire. I want to get black because I already have a red and now 2 green. But if they do blow up our land, like Revoke Existence, Dust to Dust, I probably should get a red so that I have access to all my colors. Even though I'd prefer to have multiple black. The second Wildfire means maybe I can just get a second black anyway. Hell yeah to precisely some of those. Waiting for the March Food Reviews channel. Don't tempt me. I do talk a lot about food in my personal life. My idea of a perfect date is just going to a restaurant and then going home. Just a great restaurant and then right back home. Yeah, we'll just Chrysalis, stall them out. If they then play a creature in Battle Screech, I can just Breath Weapon, which is pretty good. Where do mushrooms land on the food scale? Oh, I mean, mushrooms right near the top of the vegetables. To be honest, better than some of the ones that I mentioned. I totally forgot about mushrooms. Yeah, it's probably like broccoli and then mushrooms. They're so good. Here's a Battle Screech. They're about to be completely eviscerated. So let's Chris. Oh, and then Breath Weapon right away. Wipe the board. Attack for 6. I'd watch your food channel. Ginger Brute. Ooh, that's pretty good. Hi, I'm Munch from StrataGames. That's pretty funny. What is the most edible pauper creature? Yeah, Ginger Brute could... I mean, literally the food creatures are probably pretty good ones. As far as a non-food creature, I don't know. I'm sure there's some, like, delicious-looking frog or something. Just some, like, little guy, you know? Do you like a meta with 20 viable decks on the same level or a narrower one? One thing driving me away from Pauper is that, talking about competitive, you're saying one thing driving you away from Pauper is that there's too many good decks or like pretty comparable decks. Yeah, there we go. I personally prefer many viable decks. I have no idea who it was. I remember hearing something from someone complaining about Pauper, probably just some rando online, saying like, yeah, it's impossible to target a meta if there's 20 or 30 viable decks. But if you play the format a lot, I think it gets extremely boring to play against the exact same deck over and over and over again. So in Pauper, with so many viable decks, I still get bored of playing against some certain decks. And so, yeah, I would definitely prefer to have a whole bunch of decks viable. Because who wants to play a meta? Like, who wants to play a format where it's like, oh, you have to play one of the 2 best decks or whatever, like Vivi or, you know, whatever the best deck at the time is. Like, that does not sound enjoyable to me. And that's, in fact, why I would specifically avoid certain formats, is if there are not enough viable decks. I'm hoping we find another red source at some point. Losing both of them was pretty rough. I go Ice Cream Kitty as long as you have Lactated in my sideboard. Good point. All right, we're going to go for this Turtle's Throat. Most creatures are edible if you're brave enough. Very true. Would Tolarian Terror be good grilled? Ooh. Probably. It'd probably be like, eel or something. Tastes kind of like that. Well, I cannot cast a single spell in my hand. I think Chris would be funky but flavorful. Yeah, I'm not sure it'd be a flavor you'd want to be eating. But yeah, it'd probably have a lot of flavor for sure. Well, weren't these 3 amazing, not at all lopsided games that we just played? Oh, there's my bridge. Perfect. I'm sure Modern players are happy to face Boros 1 match out of 2 for 2 years. Exactly. Like, I played a little bit of Modern, and it wasn't a terrible format, to be honest. Like, I played it like 6 months to a year ago. It wasn't terrible, but there was definitely too much Boros going around. This hand looks reasonable enough. Play Swamp. Have to keep paying the ward, though, if you're eating a Terror. That's a good point. Looks like we're against Food Gardens. I'm sure this will be a very fun and interesting match. I haven't really played it, to be honest, that much. I could start attacking with Infiltrators, but I'd really like to hit these land drops. See, 21 lands, and I still can't hit land drops in this in this league. I imagine Terror would taste like alligator, which would taste like chicken. Not an unreasonable point. Hey man, GG's for last game? Yeah, GG's. I was commenting that we had a couple games that were very balanced and super back and forth, except the opposite, where I got crushed, then I crushed you, and then I got crushed again. But yeah, thanks for the games. Still fun. Biggest reason I fell in love with Pauper was the deck variation. Exactly. In addition to everything I've already said, the ability to brew decks is only really viable in a format that has a lot of diversity, because if you have just one best deck that you should always be playing, then it's very hard to brew anything else. And brewing is a big reason that I play any format. So yeah, that's certainly my preference. Yep, had 3-Raven Charm for the first Chris and was like, that's not that bad. And then the second came, I was like, okay, I can deal with this. Yeah, it was definitely pretty tough. I had it drawn up pretty well. I mean, we're a little behind, but we're going to Wildfire to try to get back in this a little bit. I could play a Landscape, play an Infiltrator, start attacking. Yeah, I think that's fine. I could also have just played a Bridge, left up Spellbomb, but they're about to use this Eviscerator's Insight probably because they have 5 mana available, so I'm not actually going to be leaving it for anything relevant. Pauper is a brewer's dream. You can brew a deck for €10. Yeah, exactly. Like you can brew a deck for extremely cheap, and you can brew a deck that actually gets wins. Like, it's not just, oh, you can have a cheap deck and then it loses every single time. Like, you can actually brew some decks that are, reasonably tier 3 or even sometimes tier 2 decks, which you just can't do in a lot of other formats. I think if you have 3 to 4 top decks, it's much more likely to build brews that target them. I mean, it's much easier. Yes, it's easier. I agree with you to some degree. It's easier to brew decks that target those specific decks if there's only a couple of them. But are those decks good against any other matchup? Because I feel like you can brew a deck that specifically beats one matchup, right? Like Persistent Petitioners, which is a deck that gains a ton of life in Pauper, can crush mono red because it gains so much life. That's an easy matchup for them. But then they lose to just about everything else in the format. And so that doesn't seem great, right? Like, they can beat one specific deck. And obviously that's because there's so much diversity. But say say Pauper was in a format where Elves, Grixis Affinity, and mono red were the only viable decks. And everything, those were all 25% of the meta. And then there was, 25% that was everything else. Then yeah, a deck like Petitioners could crush one of the 3 top decks, but then there would still be I should sack this here, I think. There would still be decks that would crush that other deck. So I don't know. I don't think it changes much, except that you get to play against more interesting different decks. We're going to Pestilence twice. I could sack Spellbomb now. To grow the Infiltrator, they have to Pestilence again. They bring back Cauldron Familiar. It dies. So I get them to use one of these. But Chrysalis is still around, so Pestilence is still around. And I can't actually keep the Infiltrator alive. All right, I think we just let it go. What do you think of Dust to Dust versus Wildfire? I tend to not side it in and just take in a couple of Revoke Existence. I saw them both in opening hand. Yeah, obviously the Revoke's pretty good. I think if you have Revoke Existence in your sideboard, I think that's usually a little better against Jund because they can operate off of just a single artifact land pretty well. But I usually still bring in a couple Dust to Dusts. Like, for my list, I run 1 Revoke, 3 Dusts in the side, in my paper list at least. And so I'll usually bring in like 1 Revoke, 2 Dust to Dust. Not all of them, because Dust can be kind of rough. But the thing is that the deck, sometimes it can be awkward if they only have 1 artifact land. But the deck is so reliant on the artifact lands that even, and on so much mana, that even late game taking out 2 of their lands when they already have 8 lands is still not that bad. And they also play refurbs and, spell bombs and other stuff to kill. So, yeah. So I usually do it. I usually do bring in a couple, but not quite the max. They could Pestilence here to wipe the spawn so this doesn't grow. Not a terrible idea, but then they kill their Familiar again before I block, before they get to block. Well, Wildfire here. Could have blown up their Rot Farm, actually. They would lose green, but we do want our mana. And sack this. Fanatical here. Will we see Dimir Teachings tonight? I'm planning to play Dimir Fairies after this, but not Teachings. Not currently, anyway. We got Bojuka Bog, so I could bog them. They try to bring back Familiar, and then I Spellbomb them, which might just be worth it. I don't draw from the Spellbomb. For that reason, I think I'm just going to play Bridge, and we'll pass. There are off-meta decks that can lose to the top 4, but can still do well because that's only like 30% of the field. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I like about it. They're just going to Pestilence 7 times. Okay, I mean, I guess they are higher life total than us. But if they don't have another food, then I can just blow up the graveyard in response and they're going to lose the Pestilence. Okay, they do have a food. Bladesinger Tom subscribed with Prime. Thanks so much for that. Bladesinger Tom. Suppose Dimir Teachings isn't suitable for online play. It can be tough, but there are a lot of decks that are slow, but you can still play online, like what we're playing against right now. Yeah, I guess we have to gain some life, otherwise we're just going to die to them on their turn, which is kind of annoying. Just feels such a Marsh Flats type of deck. Dimir Teachings, like Flickertron and Cycle Storm. Oh, exactly. Cast Down, I don't think we need it. Lembas again. Krark. Krark actually could wipe the board. No, because I have to wipe this. Actually, I have a map. I guess maybe I try to map onto this. And then if it gets a counter, then I can wipe away their stuff. Ichor Wellspring, sure, we'll leave that on top. So I can Bojuka Bog here. If they bring back the cat, then I can wipe them away. Oh, but then the Krark is going to be around. So, a little awkward. Actually, no, because I do this. Then with that on the stack, I stack another map, wipe these away. So now if they want to bring it back, they still have to do it here. And then I wipe it away again, which will kill our thing, which means the Pestilence goes away. So I'm going to sack this, and then I'm going to not need the Lembas, I think. So I can sack this, and I get to exile that. Okay, that was pretty cool. Hopefully it'll pay off. Sorry, I've been focusing so hard here. Will you make a report video out of Pauper Genesis as well? Of course. If I make a report video for a win a duel or something that I go to, I mean, I got some bigger plans for a video for Pauper Genesis, so certainly will be something. What's worse, Poison Storm or Cycle Storm? I think that Cycle Storm is the slightly better deck, but I think I like playing against it slightly better because you can actually interact with the graveyard, whereas Poison Storm, you can interact with artifacts a little bit, and otherwise it's almost all spell-based stuff. So if you don't have duresses or counterspells, then it's like you don't even get to interact at all, which I think is less exciting. Toxin could be good. Let's play Chris. I guess I probably want to keep at least one spawn around for if they have another Tithing Blade. So let's do this. Get a land. Play a land. Refurb. Personally, I think Cycle Storm, at least Poison Storm, is closer to a normal play length for each turn. That is... yeah, that can sometimes be true. As long as your Cycle or Poison Storm player knows what they're doing, it is a lot faster, I think. But, I don't know, I've played against plenty of people who take forever still. I kind of want to play an Infiltrator here. If they have a Pestilence, I'm dead. No, not if I have a Lembas up. Yeah, I guess we'll pass. I kind of want to play the Infiltrator so that we can get an enormous creature next turn and gain life with the Toxin, but maybe not. I could see Seething Song being very high on the watch list for bannings currently. Ruby Storm is a very strong deck. Ruby Storm is a decently powerful deck, I agree, but I'm not sure Seething Song is anywhere close to being ban-worthy. They're going to snuff out the Chrysalis. Sure. Tragic Slip the Refurb. Okay. Attack. I'll block and sack this Wellspring. Ruby Storm loses to itself often, though. Yeah, it can. I mean, it is a powerful deck, I agree, but you can also interact with it in a lot of ways. Graveyard and on the stack, in their hand, and also creatures on the board, with both board wipes and targeted. There's a Troll. All right, so... I don't see it. Gruul Storm is not at a broken point in the meta. There are a lot of modern banned stuff that is fine in Pauper, and I think that's one of the... yeah, for sure. Let's map onto this. We get a land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I guess we're just going to pass. If they have a Pestilence plus this Troll, we're definitely dead. But if all they have is Troll, then I can gain life from the Lembas and at least survive a turn. So gain some life here. I could try to draw some cards to try to find a cast down. Because if they do hit us and then have the Pestilence, we die. But I don't think that's better. There's the Pestilence. Gain some life. Doesn't really matter, though. Well, alright. They're going to kill us. I wonder if Sneaky Snacker will see a Banhammer like ever. Yeah, that's definitely one of the ones that is high enough it could be. It is definitely one to watch, I think. I like Strata's argument from a couple streams ago. These combo decks lose to themselves when you force them to go off. Yeah, like Black Sack has a great win rate against almost any combo deck. Not that much because you interact with them, although there's a little removal, you can do some hand attack, but it's mostly because you force them to go off 1 to 2 turns earlier than they really want to. And that can just be devastating. Like, most of the time when I play against Cycle Storm as Black Sack, I do have to sit there for 10 minutes while they storm off, but they almost always whiff because they just don't have enough cards because they had to go off a turn early. So, all right, Quarks, Toxins, don't need. Cast downs, we probably don't need this many. Let's see what else. All right, I think that's what we're doing. Let's just send it back. Well, with some changes. 1 land, perfect. This one's okay. Get rid of 1 Wellspring. Play Nefts that would be nerfed heavily by a Snacker ban, and I think banning it would be better for the format overall. Yeah, I understand. I do think Snacker makes... It's another reason that mono red is so strong, is that you have to have creature removal and life gain and graveyard hate to really be able to cover all your bases. And if there was no Snacker, you wouldn't have to care about graveyard hate that much. Maybe a little bit with Lava Darts, but nowhere near as much. Refurb. I just kind of threw out the Refurb. I maybe should have played Infiltrator and then Landscape sack it for green, because I could just play Infiltrator this turn, but then I don't have Chrysalis next turn, which I think is worse. So I'm going to just pass, but now I waste a mana. But if they have a Tithing Blade or something, like, and they kill this first, it's probably better than us losing our Infiltrator, so I don't know. Grave Hate doesn't really work against Lava Dart anyway. I mean, yes and no. I'm not saying that you exile them and they can't use them, but if you do it in response, like if you Fairy Macabre or Thraben Charm in response to a Gutter Snipe, then they can't use them as effectively. It's 1 damage instead of 3. But also, if you're able to Bojuka Bog or something exile the graveyard early, they often don't want to sack a land that early, so it does work somewhat. Early enough it does, yeah, basically. Real issues that Snacker solves the biggest weakness of the archetype. It gives them difficult to take care of repeatable damage. Yes, yeah. It's a burn deck, which usually means finite amount of damage that takes a little bit, you got to cast all the time or whatever. But it also has very repeatable, resilient burn damage, which is tough. Okay, a little annoying. They have Snuff Out and a way to exile the familiar. I'm going to play an Infiltrator, sack for a Cleansing Wildfire for red. And we haven't actually played a land this turn, so I kind of want to Offering this Wellspring. But then if they have a Tithing Blade and they kill the Infiltrator, it's going to feel really silly, so I think we're going to just leave this up. Turn 3 Bog against 2 darts in a graveyard. My opponent didn't want to sack all their lands. Yeah, that has definitely happened for me quite a few times, and definitely makes sense. All right, here I'm going to go for the Offering and just hope that we find another creature or something, but there's a creature. Play Refurb. They're going to kill the Infiltrator. No, they're going to draw. That makes more sense. Al Zheimer, subscribe with Prime. Thanks so much for that, Al. Appreciate it. They're going to bring Cauldron Familiar back in response because they draw another card. Discard a Lembas. Want to play the Spell Bomb, but I also want to play this Wellspring. But I also want to have a Fanatical Offering. Ooh, another of these. All right, maybe we don't leave up the Offering and I just do this. Hit him again. Play the Spell Bomb. Attack. If they want to chump, then I can kill, well, I could maybe get the familiar if they try to bring it back, although they have an Eviscerator's Insight, which I might want to exile as well. I think we'll just leave it for now. They chump, pass, Wellspring, play a Nutrient Block, cast down the Infiltrator. Due to reasons, I have to wait until Friday to play Pauper. Normally the league day's on Thursday. RIP. Play it in your head, exactly. That's the solution. Troublemaker oof. Let's just draw a bunch, see what we got going on. Bunch of Ancient Grudges. Certainly attacking for 4. I wanted a way to kill this, because I could blow up their Lembas, then kill the Familiar, then Spell Bomb, because I want to get rid of that Eviscerator's Insight. But I guess I took out most of the ways to kill it, to be fair. Well, let's play Infiltrator and Spell Bomb anyway, because I really don't want them to get that draw 3. I think that's more important, to be honest. I'm down to 1 mana, so let's just map onto this guy. Which, if I was going to do, I should have done before attacks, but that's okay. Spell Bomb on top. Let's just ban all the cards with Familiar in their names. Much better meta and experience for everyone. I mean, I've been one of the longest... for the longest time, I've been saying that Familiar is one of the most broken creatures in the format, and probably should be banned, if anything. But hey, I would love to see a bunch of Familiars from combo decks go away. So, assume our opponent has turn 2 Tribe combo every game. Yeah, it's a great way to play in your head. Just immediately lose every single game. Writhing Familiar and Tellurian Familiar gone too. Aw, not those. Those are my favorites. Let's see. Play Chris. Play a Spell Bomb. Map onto this other Familiar. Cleansing Wildfire, we'll leave that on top. Attack with the team. And then I could just shoot this Lembas when they block here. So they only have 1 way to sacrifice it. Could be a bit of a waste, but I mean, by doing this, they only have 1 way to bring it back. And if they try to bring it back, I can Spell Bomb. We have a million ways to destroy artifacts in our hand, so this is what we're going to use them for. Pass the turn. Judge's Familiar. No. The best Familiar in the format. They have a Pestilence. Play a Colony Garden. Don't you dare touch my Sunscape and Thornscape Familiars. Sorry, Phil. Ben has spoken. They're all gone. Let's see. I did think maybe I should put 2 maps onto the same one of these so it would survive, but I figured they'd all die anyway, but it would survive here. And they have chump blockers. I do get to Troublemaker away the Pestilence. Actually, that's pretty good because I do it pre-combat. Then if they want to kill these Familiars, they have to wipe these away. And then I just win. Chrysalis. Cast with Bargain, the Slumbus. I gotta go to sleep. Need to wake up in 8.5 hours. Alright. Sleep well. Rough, quote-unquote, 5-hour workday incoming tomorrow. Gives me time to cook something. Hell yeah. Get rid of that pestilence. Forgot my freezer open last week for the entire day and lost 2 weeks worth of meal prepping. That sucks. I'm very sorry to hear that. For me, meal prepping is already hard enough to work up the energy to do. That losing all of that work would be really unfortunate. Got a mulligan that one. This one's okay, though. I think we get rid of the Infiltrator just because it's not as necessary early on. Play a bridge. They pass. Play a bridge. They draw a couple. Cycle a troll. For a swamp. Play a campfire. Starting to think they weren't playing campfires. Cleansing Wildfire. I mean, that's part of why we brought the grudge in. Get a forest. Play a landscape. We'll crack that for probably a swamp. They've heaped harvest. Card's pretty good. Bajuga Bog. No. Grab a swamp. Chris. Alright, I can play a Spell Bomb and then a Refurb and still have up a spawn for like a Tithing Blade. They might have cut Tithing Blade, to be fair, because of the spawn, but still decent to play around it if you can. Of course, we give them a Cauldron Familiar, which they can sack the Heaped Harvest with. So that was not great. I could Spell Bomb, but they have a Nutrient Block, so that doesn't really matter. Refurb is not the best in this matchup, but it doesn't feel like it's worth cutting because we kind of need the pressure. Like, it was good last game. Map onto the Familiar. Hits Eviscerator's Insight. Attack. I think I'll just take it. I could trade with the Refurb, seeing as they have the life gain from the campfire. It might be worth it, but I'm also planning to blow up the campfire at some point. Swing for 2. Another Chrysalis. We haven't hit a land drop, so I think we're going to Offering here. And there's our land drop. There's a Pestilence. Go for the Throat on the Chris. I mean, I might as well block because they can Pestilence wipe everything away anyway. Although they're not going to do that for a little bit. Like, they're going to just take this here because it's 2 damage. I guess I could leave this back to block. Maybe that's better. Yeah, pass. They're going to Campfire and we're going to blow it up. They're not going to Campfire because they're worried that we could do something if they had Pestilence 1. Tithing Blade. Sack the Refurb. Insight. So they did keep Tithing Blades in. Could cast this down. I need a way to kill this. They have an Eviscerator's Insight in hand. That's their last card. So don't really want to cast anything down, but I also don't want to take the damage here. Yeah, we'll just cast it. I'm going to Spell Bomb because I have this Fairy Macabre to hit the Familiar when they try to get it back. So I guess they could shuffle it all back in with the Campfire if they want, but that's probably fine. Draw a card. I guess we leave the Landscape for a Gixian later. I'm trying to kill all the creatures to get rid of this Pestilence. I don't really want to play a Chrysalis right now, but I guess we only have like 1 cast down left. Refurb is the same toughness, so if I play that, they have to either wipe both of these or neither. Now they're going to sack the plant. That's really funny. I don't have a way to sack the Refurb. However, I could Ancient Grudge it myself, which will kill the Pestilence. I could sack it later with an Eviscerator's Insight, but unfortunately they might get a creature by then, so I actually think it's worth blowing up my own Refurb here. Pretty goofy, but I would like that Pestilence to go away. I have a friend who I'm trying to get into Pauper. Do you have any recommendations for a good starting deck? Yeah, I mean, first, it's important to give them a deck that fits their playstyle. So if they are an aggro player, obviously an aggro deck, things like that. But I think the best, easiest decks to start with would be White Weenie, or let's do this. White Weenie's good, Red Rally's good. I think Tolarian Terror, Mono Blue is not that hard. Like, every single deck is hard to play 100% perfectly, but it's not that hard to play adequately, and I'm obviously not disparaging anybody who plays these decks. I play all these decks. Elves is not a terrible one to start with either, I don't think. it's too hard to get the concept of that. I would say mostly try to stay away from control decks or difficult combo decks. If they are a big combo player, I think giving them a combo deck could be fine, but I would try to stay away from the storm decks or assemble these 6 cards like Flickertron or something like that, or familiars. But if you want to do like a walls combo or something where it's just like assemble these 2 cards and you kind of win the game, those are a little bit easier to do. If they like mid-range, I think Grixis and Jund are both like not the worst decks to play. Like, again, all these decks are very difficult to play 100% perfectly, but I don't think most of them are that problematic. But like, if you're asking for the easiest decks, like level 1 complexity, I would say White Weenie, Red Rally are probably 2 of the best ones to start with. Just simple attack kind of a deck. They only have 2 cards, but I'm going to duress them because it could be a kill spell or something I want to get rid of, or a draw spell. If it's a draw spell, they're going to use it, which might just draw them into more things. Sack their cat. Sure, we'll get rid of Nutrient Block. And then play Chris. We are running low-ish on time, so trying to play a little faster. You could also do a deck that's like harder to interact with and just like very linear game plan, like Mono White Heroic or Bogles are not terrible decks to start with either, because they have just one solid game plan and they can just kind of stomp your opponent. The problem with those decks is that if you, on the other end, have 1 kill spell, suddenly they almost always lose the game, and that's not very fun. So I think the decks that are a little more aggro but have a lot of creatures and like it's not as easy to just lose immediately on the spot like that is probably better. They got a Bojuka Bog, so we're going to be flashing back Eviscerator's Insight. Oh, wait. We also have an Ancient Grudge. Oh, we didn't leave any green mana up. Well, that's a waste. Eviscerator's Insight, a Lembas, because I think that's less useful than a map. Very Macabre. They have an Eviscerator's Insight. And, of course, a Cauldron Familiar. Alright. We'll attack. I kind of just want to play this Fairy Macabre as an attacker. I never ended up Ancient Grudging that Campfire. That's going to bite us quite a bit. I should have had a green mana up. I don't think I used 2 green mana last turn. We will Bojuka Bog, and I guess we're just going to Fairy Macabre away their Familiar and Lembas, so they can't get those back. I guess I'm going to map onto... It should just be on the Chrysalis, because Spawn are going to get gone sometime. Gixian, sure. They have 5 cards in hand. I feel like this is going to be pretty tough to win, but I can see Bogle's Heroic giving a beginner to competitive Magic a bad impression. How and when to do your removal is important in those decks. Just try to avoid that conversation. Yes. I mean, a beginner to competitive Magic, I will say, I think that's a little bit like, if you're introducing someone to Pauper, I guess it depends on what you mean by, if you're introducing them to Pauper and they played a bunch of Magic, then yeah, maybe that's not the best one. But if you're introducing them to Pauper and Magic, like if they're learning the game, then I think playing competitively isn't the biggest goal, and your new player probably just wants to not be in a really bad spot, kind of a thing. But yeah, if you're just saying like they're new to Pauper and they've played a bunch of Magic, yeah, probably not the best decks. All right, well, we definitely made a mistake not ever finding the mana to Ancient Grudge this Campfire. That said, even if this Campfire was gone and they had like 10 less life, I don't think we would be in any better of a spot. So, appreciate the advice. I'm always the one guy in the trying to get people into games. Yeah, no, I totally understand. It is an admirable thing for you to be doing, for sure. And we just got a land. We'll pass. Campfire. We have one more Ancient Grudge. I mean, the thing about the Campfires is that it's not just for gaining life. Like, they could be at 1,000,000, but it's also that they might mill out at some point. And being able to recur their graveyard is going to keep them in the game. We need like a burst to card draw into some Ancient Grudges and some other stuff. I mean, we're also dying to this Consuming Sepulcher. I guess I'd probably need to kill that at some point. Lembas, we're going to keep a Fanatical. I'm going to sack a land, I think. Everything else has more utility at the moment. Gixian Infiltrator. Map onto it. We got a land. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted, obviously. Pass the turn. Sack a Lembas. Pestilence. Pretty sure that'll just kill us. Not this turn. Oh, we don't even have a basic in our deck, but I'm going to sack this anyway to grow this guy that's still going to die. Obviously shouldn't have. They attack. If I block here, they just get to do less damage to the board. So we won't block there. They're at 43, though, so what does it matter? All right, we have lost. Let's just move on. Some bad draws at the end there. We're going to keep this one. Hi there, I see Pauper player. Sub. Perfect. Glad to have you. Halfway to the legendary 4/4. Indeed. That's what I've always wanted. Grab the prize. Let's pass the turn here. Do grindy games like that make you worry bringing Jund to Pauper Genesis? I wouldn't say worry, but it is a consideration. I mean, there's a very small part of me that kind of wants to bring Food Pestilence to Pauper Genesis because I think it's the best deck that targets all three of the top meta decks. It's got a lot of life gain for mono red, a lot of creature removal for elves, and just decently grinds out mid-range, so it can beat Affinity, plus you can put a lot of artifact hate in your sideboard, which helps. We have no life gain, so our life gain is going to be a blocker here. We're going to play a Spell Bomb because I could get rid of this looting if I want. Excuse me. You know, I think I should even sack this and map. Potentially could draw us a card or just surveil a card closer. Plus it grows this if we get like a Toxin analysis. Another Chrysalis is generally good, but I honestly just don't think it's what we need. Although we only have black land or black spells here, so the ability to play more than one thing is very, very low. I don't think we need a Chrysalis though. Yeah, so it's a consideration. Like if I took Jund and I went up against Pestilence, it could be difficult to outgrind them. And the last thing I want to do, obviously, is go to time. So I don't know. It's something I'm thinking about for sure. Like it is at the forefront of my mind. Okay, Wellspring, I can play. Definitely going to be casting down this Flame Breather. And unfortunately, I'm not sure I want to trade 1 damage for 5. It's a crazy exchange rate, but the 1 damage could be quite relevant. We just need to survive until we can find some life gain, Toxin Analysis, or the other one, Lembas. Flashback, Faithless Looting, discard double Snacker. Luckily I have a Spell Bomb, so I'm not worried about the Snackers. Krark. We're going to try to draw something good here. We drew some cards for sure. Cleansing Wildfire. Grab a Swamp. Mountain. Well, I can attack, because now I can at least play a Krark to block here. And a Refurb. I think I'm just going to do the Krark, actually. I probably am going to have to Spell Bomb, and I can draw a card there. They play a Mountain and a Gutter Snipe. Well, we could certainly just be dead as well, but I guess I'll try to kill this Gutter Snipe if they do anything. Block. Float a black. Sack 2 artifacts. Try to kill the Gutter Snipe. I assume I'm just dead to like Double Bolt in response or Fire Blast or whatever, but gotta try. There's the double Fire Blast. Draw a card and oh look, it's not a 0 mana card that gains this life. Crazy. Alright, we get Duress, Fairy Macabre, and Weather the Storm. In exchange for Krark, munitions, some of the cast downs, Wellspring, and I think Infiltrator. A little bit of everything. Yeah, this one's okay. Hiya, how's it going? Welcome. Start with a bridge and pass. Epicure. We get a bridge, but I want to play a 2-drop. If I had like a Spell Bomb, I would have played that in the bridge. I definitely want to play this before turn 4, but they have Grab the Prize with an Epicure. No Snacker's nice. Just play this and pass. Try to draw into some life gain. Swing for 1. Grab the prize with a snacker. I'm going to do this in response because we could get a Fairy Macabre. And we do not. Play Chrysalis. And I think we'll just pass. I could play a Wellspring, which in the situation where I draw a Fairy Macabre and then they go for another snacker or something could be good. But I think I'd like to grow both Chrysalis plus have blockers for both their creatures. Yeah. Exile the Green Bridge. Okay. A little annoying. Not the end of the world. It sets me back a turn from playing another Chrysalis. But if that's all they're doing, I'm actually not too worried. Doing well, just hit an 11 win streak with my deck again today. Sadly, only on best of 3. Pizza Elves, very nice. That's cool. So I will Wildfire here. Get a forest. And we get a bridge. I could refurb, but I kind of fear giving them a free Madness card. Plus, this is just a cheap card to cast if I find a Weather the Storm later. So I think I'm just going to leave up Fanatical Offering. They discard a snacker. Flame Breather. And another Flame Breather. Sack a map. Do you have any recommendations for the current league meta? That's pretty good. Like best decks to be playing in the leagues? I don't know. I mean, certainly the top 3 decks are probably going to do you well. I think Jund just generally is pretty good and one that I usually do pretty well with in the leagues. Food Pestilence is a very good deck if you're willing to play a slow, grindy control deck. Black Sack's always fun. Not necessarily best in the meta right now, though. All right, I think I could Bojuka Bog away the snacker. Then I don't leave up 3 spells. I kind of want to be able to hold up Eviscerator's Insight, Weather, since I don't have any kill spells for them. I think that's what we're going to do. I guess I could have also played a Chrysalis and held up 2 spells, but not double Weather. And they've basically assembled their own Gutter Snipe, so I'm a little worried by that. Yeah, I see you're on a good run with Jund right now. This one's going okay. 2 and 2 is not the best, and we could definitely end in a 2-3 here. But in general, Jund is definitely the deck I've gotten the most trophies on before. I could Weather, but we're not gaining that much, so I don't think we're going to do that. Duress is good. Okay, so I can... We have 7 mana, so I can Duress, Toxin, Spellbomb, and then also Weather the Storm. So let's start with a Spellbomb. I meant not this league in general. Yep, that's fair. In general, it has been going pretty well. I was telling my dad about Pauper the other day, and he told me he used to do a similar thing around 2004, 2005, and play with commons only with his friends, and used to call it Black Mark Battle. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Fire Blast to the face for 6. I'm just going to take it. If they want to respond more, oh, there's a Lava Dart. They were 1 damage short, although I have weathers and stuff, so I actually wish that they had the damage and had gone all in. But now, actually, I can Bojuka Bog, and if they want to cast the Lava Dart in response, that's going to add to our Weather the Storm count, which they are on the refurb. They have 1 mountain in hand. So I'm going to attack, Toxin Analysis, Weather the Storm, Weather the Storm. And we're going to gain 30 to 40 life, I think. We're at 5 right now. So we gained 43 life. Seems pretty good. That should be a game. I would think so. They plot a robbery. They're keeping up the faith. Play a Chrysalis. Play a Landscape. Eviscerator's Insight. We'll just do a land here. March this man as a family. How could you destroy him like that? It's his own damn fault for playing Mono Red Madness. You get destroyed by life gain. You get what you effing deserve, you know? Float a red, so they're going to sack a mountain. Or they discard a Fiery Temper and just did it that way. Now they sack a mountain. Another robbery. Look how much damage they're dealing to us. We're at 39. Discard a mountain. What do you get when you take 3 of the most hated cards in Pauper and put them in the same deck? Exactly. You get what you deserve. We'll Duress, take their Fire Blast. They could have cast that. See, you know, they're just letting me do these things. Wellspring, we'll play that. Landscape, Play a Lembas. Sure, Wildfire. Why not? Attack with the team. They're going to block, and I will cast down a Flame Breather. Faithless Looting. Discards a Mountain and a Snacker. Alright, they've finally realized that I got that game. I was a little worried because I realized that I took out a good amount of removal when we probably want to have that removal in the deck. It's just hard to fit everything I want in here. But I think Infiltrators might just be... like, taking out all the Infiltrators does make our Toxins a little worse because we only have a few targets for them. I don't know. Again, this is why this deck is so tough, is because I want to not only use my Graveyard Hate from the main deck, but also from my sideboard. I want to bring all my life gain in from my main deck and from my sideboard. And then Hand Attack is good. And I also need kill spells. Like, there's just too many things you got to balance. Does Cleansing still make the cut on the draw? It's a good question. I don't... For all I know, Walker or somebody who knows the deck better than me might think it's a cut. I don't have any matchup where I cut Cleansing Wildfire because I feel like it's so integral to the deck. You can just be way too slow if you don't have it. And the games where you have it on turn 2 versus the games you don't is like such a big difference. These hands are all terrible. I guess maybe I'll keep this one because I have a Macabre and a Duress, and if I find another land, I have some more stuff, but it's not very good. I guess I'll keep the reactive spells. Sure. So yeah, I always keep the cleansings, but maybe that's wrong. We do get a land. Play this for black. I guess he was in it if he drew all his Gutter Snipes, played them in the same turns, then cast 4 Fire Blast. Yeah, like there was a situation where maybe they could get there, but it was pretty tough. Easy, just cut lands. I mean, I'm playing 21 after all. You're right. 21's so many. So I could Duress, but they already have a draw 2 in exile. Cast down. I'm gonna Wellspring here. His hand's not shaping up to be terrible. They might have Cast in the Fire as a reaction. Yeah, but the thing is, if they are going to cast into the fire, they should probably just do it before I even cast the Cleansing Wildfire. Because yes, if they do it with the Wildfire on the stack, they can get a 2-for-1. But if I don't have the Wildfire, then they've just given me access to extra mana for no reason. So almost always they're going to do it proactively, in which case it's not as big of a deal. Now, if they get rid of my only artifact land and then my Wildfire is bad, that could be a problem for sure. But I have determined I don't think it's as much of a problem. I'm just casting this down, trying to survive, sacking this for black so I have more black mana. Remember the first time seeing a Weather the Storm after emptying my hand while playing Hot Dogs? Yeah, it's definitely going to stick with you when you're got like that. They have a mountain. We're down to 15. Get a swamp. We're going to crack this Lembas, try to hit a land drop. Be unable to do so, of course. Well, we're taking their Highway Robbery. They do have triple Gutter Snipe in hand, and we have no kill spells, so that seems bad. They're going to get rid of one of them. I think that seems reasonable. Sorry I said it previously. Yeah, like, come on, Ben. What are you doing? I almost feel like I should just Fairy Macabre away the Lava Dart in their graveyard in response to their Gutter Snipe. I think I'm going to do that. It currently has no other use, and this one Lava Dart could turn into a Lava Axe if they get 2 Gutter Snipes on board. So, this one's on me. I agree. Cast down's pretty good, but to be honest, they might not have that many spells, I'm hoping. But also, I think I just have to hit land drops. So, I kind of want a Wellspring, but I think our safest bet is Lembas, because it sees 2 cards. If we can hit lands, we maybe have a chance. I cannot afford to keep this Weather. That's not very good either. Cast in the Fire on the Lembas. That is a little annoying. Could gain this life, or it could just be something to sacrifice to one of these. Plus we took 2 from it. And they have a Grab the Prize for 4 damage. Spell Bomb. Yeah, I mean, we took 4 by not killing this Gutter Snipe, which if we found a land, I think would have been worth it. But since we didn't, probably not worth it. So we're dead to a Fire Blast. Oh, look, there's the Fire Blast. Yeah, this was really unfortunate. They didn't exile any lands or anything. We just had to mulligan to 5 to find lands and then drew pretty poorly. So not the best showing. Mono Red Madness is a deck that I think we have a bad matchup against. I'm trying to fix that a little bit with the Toxins in the main again, and Lembas, Bajuka Bog, like a lot of ways to fight their stuff. It just doesn't work great. So that's the main deck that I'm worried about as far as playing this at Pauper Genesis. The main reason I've not locked this in as my choice, because if that matchup didn't exist, I think we'd be just incredibly favored against most of the meta. But I don't know, I'm still on the fence about it. But that's one deck we're considering. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.